Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Let's just dive right in today, because we are completely tearing down the old ways of doing things. Cloud browsers have absolutely revolutionized web testing in 2026. I mean, honestly, gone are the days of keeping stacks of physical devices on your desk or trying to run those slow, resource-hogging virtual machines locally. If you're still relying on a local setup right now, you are almost certainly missing critical bugs. So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how and why testing has shifted to the cloud, giving you instant access to literally any browser, OS, and device setup you can think of, all from your single machine.
Okay, so here is our roadmap for today. We're going to start by looking at the sheer scale of the web testing challenge. Then, we'll explore the deeper dimensions of cloud testing, how to secure these environments, run a quick platform showdown, and finish up with an ideal workflow that you can actually start using today.
All right, starting with Section 1, the Web Testing Challenge, or as I like to call it, escaping the local infrastructure trap.
Look, developers face a massive headache trying to maintain all this hardware and run local VMs. Just think about the sheer scale of the ecosystem right now. Over 2,000 plus. That is the number of unique browser, operating system, and device combinations out there in the modern web ecosystem. When you start multiplying Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and Edge by all their mobile variants, and then stretch that across Windows, macOS, Linux, iOS, Android, well, maintaining that locally, it's completely impossible. You just can't do it. But a cloud browser, it just eliminates that entire burden.
And when we look under the hood at the browser engines, it gets even more complicated. Sure, Blink is the heavyweight champion with about 78% of the market, but you absolutely cannot ignore WebKit and Gecko. They have incredibly unique rendering quirks and CSS interpretations. And hey, here is a crucial oversight so many people make. Literally all browsers on iOS actually use WebKit. Yep. So if you're testing Chrome on an iPhone, you're actually testing WebKit under the hood. It behaves like Safari, not like desktop Chrome. That is a massive testing blind spot. But thankfully, cloud browser platforms help you catch it instantly.
And you know, this brings up exactly why you can't just rely on your browser's local dev tools. Dev tools are great, but they are just software approximations. They fake touch events. They completely miss actual hardware behaviors like pressure sensitivity or complex multi-touch gestures. But real cloud devices, they give you the genuine mobile browser Chrome. You actually get to see how real URL bars, native navigation gestures, and true momentum scrolling affect your layout. DevTools simply cannot replicate the reality of a Retina display or how a virtual keyboard physically pushes your UI around on a real device.
Moving right along to Section 2, Dimensions of Cloud Testing, and going way beyond basic compatibility. So, going beyond just making sure things load, we hit this perennial challenge for developers, the Safari testing reality. Apple simply doesn't provide a Windows or Linux version of Safari anymore, and you cannot legally run macOS in a virtual machine on non-Apple hardware. No way around it. So how do you test it if you don't own a Mac? Well, cloud testing platforms solve this bottleneck entirely because they actually host physical Mac Minis and Mac Studios right in their data centers. It gives you remote access to genuine Safari instances with zero hardware overhead. It's brilliant.
And this remote access builds directly into another huge benefit, geo-performance testing. Because website performance is definitely not universal, right? A site that loads in a snappy 1.2 seconds in New York might take 4.5 seconds for a user in Mumbai. By mapping out your analytics, you can actually select cloud browsers hosted in data centers closest to your users. You can run lighthouse audits, measure core web vitals, spot gaps in your CDN coverage. You can even throttle the network down to 3G or 4G speeds to see exactly what that user halfway across the globe is experiencing.
Okay, Section 3, Security and Accessibility. Keeping things sandboxed and inclusive.
Security and accessibility are such absolutely crucial benefits, yet they're so often overlooked. Think about it. When you run security tests, you're often deliberately interacting with malicious content. Cloud browsers give you a completely disposable, sandboxed environment to do that safely. You can isolate cross-site scripting payloads or run full penetration tests without ever risking your own local network. The second you end the session, poof, the payloads are destroyed. Plus, on the accessibility side, you can test with real native screen readers like NVDA or VoiceOver and run automated WCAG audits across all sorts of OS combinations. It's how you ensure your site is genuinely inclusive.
Let's move into Section 4, Platform Showdown. It's time to choose your testing weapon.
When we objectively look at the heavy hitters dominating the market in 2026, BrowserStack is really the enterprise standard. Starting at $29 a month, they offer over 3,500 real devices. It's pretty much perfect for large teams needing deep CI/CD integration. Then you've got Lambda Test, a great budget-friendly alternative at $15 a month that actually packs in some highly effective AI tools. Sauce Labs comes in a bit higher at $49 a month, but man, it is an absolute powerhouse for massive scale test orchestration. And then there's Sendwin, which takes a totally different angle. They offer a free tier and focus on really cost-effective manual testing, using anti-fingerprinting and isolated profiles. If you need to test your site exactly as a brand new visitor with 0 cookies, Sendwin is fantastic for that.
Finally, Section 5. The ideal workflow. Let's put all of this into practice.
Let's actually build out a highly actionable roadmap for your own projects. A mature testing timeline usually breaks down into 3 simple phases. Phase 1 is your daily check. Just spend 10 minutes doing basic sanity checks on Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. Catch those rendering issues early when they are super cheap to fix. Phase 2 is release week. This is where you run a comprehensive pre-release matrix to verify functional workflows and breakpoints on real devices. And finally, Phase 3 is ongoing monthly testing. This means setting up periodic smoke testing from different global locations to keep an eye on your critical user journeys, like signups and checkouts, well after deployment.
And once you master those basics, that's when you hit the ultimate ceiling of a mature cloud strategy, and it is so cool. You can unlock advanced workflows like automated visual regression testing, where it literally compares baseline screenshots across 20+ browsers on every single deploy. You can seamlessly use network throttling to make sure your progressive web apps work offline. You could even spin up isolated profiles to validate your A/B testing, ensuring your experimentation tools are bucketing users perfectly every time.
So as we wrap up, I really want to leave you with this somewhat provocative final question to chew on. Is your local testing hiding your biggest bugs? Because, as I hope we've seen today, relying entirely on software emulators and just your single local machine simply cannot replicate the complex reality of the modern web. Cloud browsers strip away those blind spots for good. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this gave you the structured insights you need to completely upgrade your testing strategy.